Hey there, how you doing? It is Mike back here at ABC Fitness Camp, and I'm just doing a quick video to tell you or to answer the question, what is ABC Fitness Camp? The reason I did this video is to help answer that question, because it actually is a very hard question to answer. And if somebody just asked me over the phone, it's, while it be a good summary, it still always feel like I'm leaving something out, because people just have this stereotype of what a boot camp's about, and that's why for one, I don't call it a boot camp, so I call it a fit camp. Not much difference there, because it's always still going to be known in some respects as a boot camp, but there is a stereotype with boot camps that I always want to get away from. Nothing against them per se, it's just not what I'm about and what we're trying to do here and what we are doing here. It really goes from there, trying to answer that question. The reason it came about is what, in its essence, they're trying to do is mimic the personal training principles. Now, it's not saying that we're doing personal training, because we're not. Personal training is about being personal and one-to-one. There's like huge element of training to lifestyle coaching and so on and so on. And those elements can be incorporated to anyone at the fitness camp. But overall, what I'm trying to say is we are at the scale that's closer to personal training by using the title group personal training rather than being boot camps or classes. And by that I mean that we use the principles that are used exactly at the Body Planner Fitness with one-to-one people, strictly about using those principles. So first off, we look at that by seeing what our objectives are, and we look at our objectives by looking at what problems people have at the moment. And I just had 60 seconds, I made a quick list here on the spreadsheet, is looking at things from excess fat to being overweight. It's one and the same thing to me, but obviously when we want to get results, we're trying to lose fat rather than just weight per se, because what's on the scales does matter, but what's in front of the mirror and how you feel in your clothes is probably a lot more important than a number on a scale. And it goes into bigger things like obesity. There is the side of fitness, feeling unfit, having a distinct lack of activity in their lives because people are more sedate than ever, feeling tired, fatigued, lack of concentration, lack of confidence and self-esteem to actually do anything about it, feeling stiff, having aches and pains that lead into even bigger things like back pain, knee pain, stuff like that. Internal health problems, obesity obviously can cause a lot of those things, from cholesterol problems, the bad cholesterol, to heart problems, to asthma, to type 2 diabetes, all sorts of things. So there's things there that will make people want to take on a health and fitness regime of some sort. A couple more there, but then the biggest one at the bottom being a big pain, being lack of results. And the circle goes like this: people try something out, it doesn't work, they get frustrated, that means they stop doing it, that means there's more lack of results, i.e. they put more weight on, or they get more pain in some other sort of sense, and that leads to trying something else out and starting the cycle all over again. Okay, and they're the sorts of problems that people are dealing with. So our objectives are to solve all of those. We want rapid fat loss, but we also want sustainable fat loss in the long term. We don't want the yo-yo type approach where people go for it and it's so unsustainable in accordance to lifestyles that it, like fad diets, there's just a yo-yo approach. We want to improve mobility, we want to make people fitter, but we want to also get them pain and injury free. We want to make them stronger. We want to have an improved lifestyle overall. We want to have a richer health internally. We want a richer lifestyle. By that I mean, if you have great health, wouldn't you agree that there's so much more that you can achieve, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, and that goes into things like performance, confidence, and so on and so on, and all the other side effects. And that's what I call them, the MTV effect, stands for massive transformation value. And again, it's a document that I keep going from things that I discuss with clients, personal training clients, or from people at the fitness camp, and just all the sorts of benefits that people get. Obviously the big ones being like inch loss, fat loss, and stuff like that. But there's different ways they describe them, because it's the things that matter to them most. And here's just a few examples of them, okay, that are put together, and just try and keep a list of. Going back to the mind map, now getting into what we actually do, because the biggest part of it is the training sessions. or so people would think. It's the biggest part of it, and maybe rightly so. There's nothing wrong with that, because after all, that's the bit where we're all together, where you're together with people like yourself that are just starting, or they've been there and done that, and obviously you're in front of me where I'm training you, and also there to answer any questions and stuff like that. So it is a very, very big component of it. And just explaining a few of the features, it is periodized, which means it has a start and end date. By having a start and end date, we can progress the programs from 1 to 12 using different components of fitness, which basically does relate to having more progress. And that's why nobody joins it, halfway through, or can join any time in the year when they want, i.e. anywhere within a 4-week program, because then they're going to really suffer on that sense, in terms of whether it's the motivation or whether it's just too hard. That they'd be so much better off going through a periodized program where they begin and then gradually progress the routines. Okay, that's not to say that it's not uncomfortable. It definitely is uncomfortable. It has to be, but it's uncomfortable to your level and not the level of myself, not the level of somebody who's been here and achieved so many things that obviously they're more conditioned to take more stuff on. It's down to your level and coming out of your comfort zone. And that's why we have levels of exercise. And that means based on your fitness levels and your technical experience, you've always got choices there to work on, and then what I would say graduate from level 1 to level 2 and so on and so on when the time is right. Okay, when you can take on a bigger challenge, and that challenge is going to do you more good. Okay, other features, it's very much body weight orientated, and the phrase I would use is metabolic training, which means we're working the muscle tissue really, really hard because we want to preserve it, we want to strengthen it. In some cases, it might mean preserving is building it slightly. I don't mean like a bodybuilder. It will be absolutely impossible to do that anyway, based on the principles we use. But what I mean is just make the muscle tissue a bit more dense. Okay. That all leads to more fat loss because, as I've said before in the objectives, we want to lose more fat tissue. We don't want to lose muscle tissue. That's what gives us the shape, okay? And that's why we do it this way, okay? But that means that we're not doing anything like any running, any jogging, any sit-ups, because basically those things don't work. Not in a one-to-one environment, and certainly not in a group environment, okay? It is also time-based, so that means there's nobody waiting for other people, and no one is left behind, whichever way you want to look at it. Again, it's all designed that people of different abilities can work together and they all get a massive bang for the buck out of it. By that I mean, for the time that we're training, which is 45 minutes including warm-ups and cool-downs, you're getting the biggest metabolic effect, so you're burning all your calories from fat for hours to come. Okay, and that's essentially the first bit of it, the training sessions. Okay, moving on, there's in a one-to-one environment, we'd always have to look at nutrition. So we do exactly the same in a group environment, and we do that via the members site. A quick intro into the nutrition is it's more about cleansing rather than calorie counting, because what we want to do is remove the toxins from the body. When we remove the toxins from the body, what we know is we maximize fat loss. Okay, if we just do a starvation type approach where we dramatically reduce calories, not only do we not feel so good, but we're not going to look so good eventually, because while you will lose weight, you will have a rebound effect because there's toxins still in the body, and basically the fat tissue is there as a protective mechanism, and it will stay so it can store those toxins. Okay, finally there is the coaching. Obviously we coach at the training sessions in terms of activity. Online we coach on the nutrition, but then if we want to sort of bucket everything into the term coaching, we do that on the members site or via email. Again, think of it as how or what it takes for you to win your game. Okay, your game is fat loss or get better fitness. Maybe you've got some event coming up, whatever it is, that's your game. Okay, and it's basically making sure that you have everything to win that game. And that's where the members site comes in, where we have the manuals, like I say, to do with nutrition, to do with training, the welcome packs, everything that you need to be doing, goal achievement or mindsets, whatever you want to call it, and lots of other articles and videos to do with all those things I've just mentioned. Anything that comes into lifestyle that also affects them, things like sleep, and also assessments. The big part of that being, if you're not assessing, you're guessing. And we want to make sure that you're always improving. Okay, you can always get in touch with us anytime you want, either via the forums or via, what I've got down there is 24/7 support. Obviously, it's not exactly 24/7 support, but we get in touch as soon as possible. And the big part of all this coaching and the member site is it offers terrific accountability. Okay, in a nutshell, what you need to have a successful, let's just call it, fat loss program is a good training program, okay, a good nutrition program. Also, what you need is a mindset program, things that you're doing there, if you want to call it goal achievement or psychology, whatever, but working out the reasons. Again, can't go into it too much now, but everything to do with mindset, after all, is what affects your action towards nutrition and exercise. So obviously that's really, really important. So we've got 3 things there. And then the last element is really the circle that you're in. Okay, and this is where group training is sometimes, even in the fitness camp, is even better than one-to-one training. Not for everybody, certainly not, because it's all about what helps you win your game. But the point I'm making is, within the circle, there's the likes of myself, which is giving you all the information, is giving you a proven fat loss formula. There is the other instructors that are trained to deliver that as well. And there you've got the group of experts, okay? But even more than that, you have got people just like you. People have either been there before and done it, or people who are just starting. And that's a huge, huge factor, because it's almost like a mastermind group, is what I call it, is where people can help you with your questions, your problems, and vice versa. Okay, and that's where the member site comes into it. If I just give you just to finish off with, a very quick glimpse of it. Here is the front page, and there's some welcome videos here, and there's lots of groups here to do with nutrition, to do with the different locations, and all sorts of other things. Again, I'm not going to go into those in too much detail, but we've got our members here, or we've got a few of them here in this little dashboard, yeah. And if we go into the members section here, just let it to load up in a second, we have got, again, all our members. Okay, just going through them, different pages, and all these people can help you. They're looking for help as well sometimes as well, and it's all about using the forums and the blogs and so on and so on, and even talking to one another at camp. It's not just, after all, on the members site, but it's when you're together, so you're not just interacting electronically via your laptops or your PCs, but also at the camps. And there's a lot of power in that. So the circle of people that are just like you, that want to achieve the same things, as opposed to people that don't want to achieve those things and maybe pull you away from, ultimately what you're trying to achieve, is very, very powerful as well. Okay, and that's the beauty of the fitness camp. So that's it for now. That really answers, as well as I can, what ABC Fitness Camp is about. If you have any questions, just email me at info@thebodyplanner.com, and I hope to see you soon. Okay, take care for now, and speak to you later.